Welcome to Meet the Mailers. I'm Paul Bobnack for Who's Mailing What, and today I'm talking with Steve Godwin, President of Analytic Marketing Partners. Now, before we get started, keep in mind that you can join our conversation at any time by commenting below. Show your support by tapping the like button. And to get notified of when we add new videos, click on the subscribe button. Now let's meet today's guest. Welcome, Steve. Thanks for coming in today.
Thanks, Paul. Great to be here and excited to spend a few minutes with you talking.
Awesome. Well, let's get started by talking about your background, how you got involved with direct mail and what your role involves with Analytic Marketing Partners.
Okay. Yeah, I started my career very early, went to work for a Christian nonprofit publisher. And at that time, we were the largest second-class mailer in the country outside of the government. So we were shipping a lot of mail and materials all around the world. I got involved with data when upper management decided to put 27 million customers under my domain getting the mail out. So I got baptized by fire with data. I served for 4 years on advisory council with Postal Headquarters, so I've kind of seen everything from the bottom, what goes out the door, to everything that happens at corporate, and all the challenges in between there. I left that organization to start an analytics team for a large direct marketing company, and about 10 years ago, my core team my original folks that I started with, we left there to start Analytic Marketing Partners. And we really wanted to help companies focus on reducing waste and increasing results in their direct mail. And mostly today, my role is mostly about strategic planning for ways we do analytics or building out proprietary data sets for our customers.
Okay. And a little more specifically, what types of services does the company offer to marketers on a day-to-day basis?
Good question. All kinds of modeling and analytics services that we do. Micro modeling, we may be doing segmentation modeling, acquisition, response modeling, cross-sell, profitability, could be customer retention. Sometimes we're doing some massive custom data hygiene processes. We work with companies that have their own analytics teams in-house. Sometimes we're cross-breeding models between their team and our team. We may be doing data appends from our data sets. Just a wide variety of automation processes for especially when we work with printers that need something turned in less than a day.
Mm-hmm. Can you explain a little bit more about micro modeling? What is it, and how does it help marketers do their jobs better?
Yeah, thank you for that. Micro modeling is actually our registered trademark tool that we've developed through the years. We've done a lot of manual modeling. We tried to automate some of those processes so that we could expedite things. So instead of getting something in 2 months, we may get it to you in a week or two, so that you can make decisions this month instead of next quarter. So that's really, really important. But it layers a variety of data sets. We may be looking at things like demographics, behavioral lifestyles, geography, spatial data, socioeconomics. And the unique proposition of that is we can model to every physical location, every market, every region, whatever makes sense from your data. Instead of just building one model like a lot of companies will do, we can get a very localized, unique view of what's happening at the consumer level.
Mm-hmm. And can you talk about response modeling? Is that part of the same thing?
Well, yeah, actually, our tool is used for a lot of different types of modeling, but most companies will start out with a prospect acquisition model. That means we're going to take historical customer data. You're going to create a lookalike model. What anybody that's doing analytics out there knows what I'm talking about. But as campaigns mature, you put out a campaign, it's matured. Now you've collected responses, and you want to review the responses against what you mailed. Everything in a lookalike model may not be good because customers come to you through all kinds of channels. And what you're doing now is you're really saying, what worked within our campaigns. You may have some tests and controls. There's a variety of things that you may have in place. So you build a response model against that campaign. Going out on future campaigns, you may actually be looking at layering two models. So you may have your acquisition model at the base, and then on top of that, you want to score it with the response model so that you can make sure that you're only marketing to the people that are going to make your campaign profitable.
Mm-hmm. And how do you work with clients to help understand their data, like who their best customers or prospects are, and from that, what opportunities there are, and where they can go with that?
Okay, yeah. So all customers, or you mentioned best customers, we will typically append hundreds of data variables to a data set that a client hands to us. And, one of the things you want to understand is what these folks look like, whether that's your best customers or a segment of customers, something like that. But secondly, we'll take a random sample population so that we can understand how your customers differ or what makes them unique within that population. That allows you to go through and find out where market penetrations are significant. Those are your opportunities. It can change, it can really demonstrate what you need to go out with as far as a marketing message, the images you use, and what products and or services are going to be best suited for your best opportunity.
Mm-hmm. So it's like a real consultancy in a lot of ways.
Yes, what we do really is more of a consulting type analytics process. So it's not a machine; it's more of a relationship. And we don't work with everybody, but the people we work with, we are really tight with, and they stay with us a very long time.
Oh, that's awesome. And I know that data is and has been for a long time the king of direct mail. And what types of, based on your experience, what types of tools should marketers be using, say from USPS or other sources, to optimize their data?
Okay. Yeah. So NCOA is really important. And, when I had 27 million customers put under my realm of opportunity there at my first company there, I think that was really eye-telling. They started building databases back in the 60s, and when NCOA came along, stuff had never been cleaned. It was a disaster. But I would recommend use a vendor that may have 4 to 6 years of NCOA versus just the standard 18 months. 18 months will get you through automation, postage discounts. But if you're trying to clean your data and you want to really know what's going on, we've done work for casinos in the past because they had people that were spending hundreds of thousands of dollars with them and they couldn't find them. We would go through and not just run NCOA once, but anybody that moved once, we may run them through NCOA several times to do that. Behind that, deduplication is really important in your customer database. Sometimes we'll find 6 or 10 occurrences of the same customer once we get all the data hygiene done. It's a great opportunity to consolidate those people and get a single view of who that customer actually is with you. They may have been with you a long time, but you may have created multiple copies of that customer at different addresses. I would also say, there's been a dramatic growth in senior marketing as the baby boomers age on up. And, so you may be looking at things like senior communities, medical insurance, mobility, hearing aids, all of those kinds of things. Deceased file processing can be very important there. You can, not only will it save money in the long run, but you'll ensure goodwill by not marketing to deceased spouses or parents or those kinds of things. So I think that's a great tool. Even though it's not a part of what we do in analytics, every door direct mail, EDDM, the post office came out with a few years back, and that's a great saturation tool. It allows for a much larger mail piece, and so that's a great tool. And then finally, informed delivery is really starting to take hold. I love it. I sign up for it, and consumers can just go to the USPS site, sign up, and they're going to get an email every day of all of the mail that's coming to them, the images and so forth. But there's also a place on there so that you can add additional marketing to go along with your mail piece, and people can respond to it immediately. So I think those are some great tools and things to take advantage of.
Yeah, in fact, informed delivery is now up to, as of January 2022, is up to 25% penetration of the US, which is pretty impressive, like 45 million subscribers.
Right. Yeah. So that's a great tool. And the people that have signed up for that are probably the people that are most likely to respond to your direct.
Exactly. They are engaged, and they want to be engaged.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So what kind of mistakes do you think marketers make with their direct mail?
Well, there's several things, and I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here, but analytics is so important. People, a lot of times, they don't analyze who they're going to mail to. So they don't create any segments or anything. They send the whole audience the same message. And you can change offers, messages, images, all of these things if you do some analytics on the front end. And I was talking with a client out of DC yesterday, and this was all they wanted to talk about for somebody that's mailing about 5 million pieces a month. And they just said, we want to start setting up tests and controls using your segmentation so that we can understand what's working and what's not in that space. Secondly, I would say there's still a lot of marketers that do not have a good capture mechanism for response. That is so critical to success. Can't emphasize that enough. You need to capture name and address. If you can't capture name and address, make sure you're capturing an email, an IP address, something like that we can reverse append with name and address, and make sure that we're understanding truly how this campaign is working. You've got to have a great, QR codes are great. You can do those kinds of things, but not everybody uses that QR code. It is a lot more popular than it used to be, but that's really relevant. And then I would say finally on that, a lot of people only look at response. They'll say, well, this campaign did a 2.3% response. Going through, and you asked about response modeling earlier, it's really important to be able to go through and figure out what's working, what's not. We need to get rid of what's not working or figure out why it's not working. And we need to be focused more on, there's probably a much larger audience of what is working. You just need to figure those things out. If you'll do those things, it's going to spell success.
Right. Completely agree. We know that postage and paper costs have put a lot of pressure on marketers, especially the last few months, to save money on their mail. What are some good ways for marketers to keep costs under control from your point of view?
Yeah. So again, analyzing results is really important because you need to figure out what's working, what's not. Don't waste the money on what's not going to be there. And frankly, that's where we counsel a lot of people to use digital. If these are still opportunities, but direct mail, you can't get a return on investment, send them an email or something, but don't spend the direct mail money on that. We've got a larger audience over here we can send direct mail to. We want to focus on that. Your seasoned printers, your sales people will usually do a great job of recommending paper sizes and paper weights to maximize your marketing opportunity there, whether that's sheet fed or web fed. Those things become really important. So you need to find you a good partner there. Maximize the mail piece sizes. You want as much real estate as you can get there to make sure that you're getting the most value you can for your dollar. And then finally, Paul, you mentioned 2 P's. I like to talk about 4 P's, which that is paper, printing, people, and postage.
Okay.
Postal automation is very important, but also printing automation is important. And when I say printing automation, fully automated type printing operations, I recently read a study that said in 2021, the printers that they surveyed said 63% of their print was not automated in 2021.
Wow.
But that is expected to drop to 36% in 2022. So that's really relevant. What does that mean to me? Well, it means faster turn times and they use less manpower to create my mail piece, and therefore that equals savings. So that's really important.
So speaking overall, what do you think that the best value proposition is for direct mail? Why does it still work today?
Yeah, well, and everybody thinks direct mail is going to go away. Direct mail is still an incredibly dynamic marketing tool. In contrast to emails, which we also do email, we help people with email marketing, but
of course.
ISPs can block a complete campaign if they think it's junk. I use Outlook, which has a clutter folder, so even things that make it box, they get foldered to in there. You've got the junk mail box, which obliterates any images or links or anything else you've got. It just strips all that stuff away. So, if emails make it through all that, it's still whether or not it gets deleted without even being opened, or if somebody only checks their email, once or twice a week. I check mine 3 or 4 times a day, but I'm not everybody. So, you got to keep that in mind when you're dealing with millennials. They just, email it wasn't the concept it was to us when we were growing up in the digital world. So,
sure.
Most consumers still get mail daily and visually inspect it and physically handle it. So I think that's really relevant. A recent USPS survey for millennials said that 90% of them that received mail deemed it as reliable and viable. Another recent study said 75% of millennials received the mail, felt like it was valuable, and 90% of those, they preferred direct mail over email for promotional marketing items. So all of those things tell us that direct mail is still here to stay, and it's a great viable tool for marketing.
Yeah, I think those last couple of points about your audiences and what the audience preferences are is huge. I mean, millennials, as you mentioned, they've grown up with digital in all the different forms, and they face a lot of clutter just like everybody else does. And after a while, your eyes get tired of seeing the same sort of thing, the same experiences on whatever digital device it is, usually smartphone right now. And direct mail has that, tactile quality.
Yeah, the tangibility of a mail piece is still there. And I think as my own 3 adult children have aged up, that it's kind of like, I've arrived, I'm getting direct mail. And so
right.
they really pay attention to it.
Right. And besides that, record album sales have exceeded the last couple of years sales of CDs, which have fallen off a cliff, and even digital downloads in some cases. And there's that engagement. Again, it's like the audience might be smaller, but the engagement level is higher because people buy into it, whether it's, something that's print, like printed books versus ebooks, or record albums with, cut with big jackets and liner notes and special booklets and all kinds of, things like that really engage the consumer instead of just another piece of digital content.
Absolutely. Yeah. Agree with you 100%.
Yeah. So what do you think about the trends for direct mail and how they're going to unfold in the next year or so?
Yeah. Of course, I'm on the data side, so I'm not as attuned to that as a lot of people would be. I remember reading something, I think, that Jill may have put out, your president may have put out a few months back, but, the 6x9 cards, getting the first class mail, letter rate, treatment, automation, and everything. I think that's huge because the USPS standards for delivery have been relaxed. So people that want to get in home, get there inexpensively and be on time, all those things, I think that's going to be really relevant. And I expect that to really increase. Again, I'm not an expert in that space, but that becomes really important for, again, the size of real estate of what you get to put in the mailbox, with messages, websites, QR codes. And, speaking of QR codes, I think I read that 40% of all mail pieces now include a QR code.
Mhm.
And so I expect that to grow because the interaction of that with the mail piece is just going to, continue to be there.
Mhm.
Direct mail I think it's going to pick up in use in multi-channel marketing. A lot of people kind of went off the cliff and they only do digital now when they consider multi-channel marketing. But, studies have shown that there's a 20% lift rate when you include direct mail as part of the multi-channel marketing. So I expect it to be a more dynamic piece there. And we work with a lot of folks that do multi-channel marketing. The cool thing on our end is we're always starting out with the name and address, always. So, you get direct mail, you want to follow up with an email, or you want to do digital display, whatever that is, that multi-channel is going to be important, but the direct mail is I think that's really going to increase this year as people are starting to understand what they left behind. I saw one printer that's that works with us a lot, one of the largest printers, had told us how one of their clients, they got a new VP of marketing. They did a test on Facebook and that did great. So they canceled, a $500,000 direct mail piece and they were only going to do. And that VP lasted 6 weeks and they were fired because the company had no business to talk about. So those things are just really important. And some people just don't respond to digital. They just don't read it. It's not a part of their normal thing. They don't do social media, anything like that. So those people, again, the conversions to sell and those kind of things are still stronger with direct mail than anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, completely agree. And the great thing about it is data just completely underlies all of it.
Absolutely. We analyze all that stuff, so we can tell people here are the results for the email, here's the digital display, here's the social, here's the direct mail. Direct mail will be up here, and these others will all be down here all day long.
Yep, awesome. Well, I think that's a great place to end it. Thanks again for coming in today. And how can people find out more about Analytic Marketing Partners for a consultation or a possible partnership?
Yeah, well, you're welcome to visit our website, ampanalytic.com or micromodelingbyamp.com. Either one of those take you to the same website. You go to the website, there'll be a phone number on there, and Noel Hindley or Phil Corbett handle up our strategic relationships, and one of those will be available by phone to answer any questions you may have.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Steve. Really appreciate you being here today. And thank all of you for joining us today. Remember that you can join the conversation anytime by commenting below. Show your support by tapping the like button and click on subscribe to be notified of new videos when they're added. If you're interested in being featured in a future Meet the Mailers, I'd really love to hear from you. So my contact info can be found in the paragraph below by tapping Show More. Thanks again for watching Meet the Mailers, and see you next time.